What's up, everyone? I'm James Young with jamesyoungphotography.com, and this is Teach Me How to Lightroom. In this tutorial, we're going to go over making a preset specifically for night portraits taken out on the street. No flash involved. This is all ambient light. And we're taking it from here, bam, to there. So you can see we're getting real moody with the edit. And if you want to follow along, there's a link in the description to the raw file down below. And if you like where this is going, make sure to leave a like on the video. Well, let's get right into the tutorial. So right off the bat with these moody type of edits, we want to have kind of a cooler overtone as far as the color temperature is concerned. So we're going to go straight to the temperature and just lower it quite a bit here. We're going to go to about 3900. And with these types of edits, we're always going high contrast. So we're going to start with our contrast slider there and crank it up. We're going to about 75. With the highlights, we're leaving them where they're at. We can lower them a little bit, but I really like these highlights coming through. To me, it makes it look really cool. Now with our shadows, we're going to bring these up a lot. We're going to go about plus 80 on these. Very good. With the whites, we're going to leave those there. We'll address kind of the whites and the highlights a little bit later when we get to the tone curve here. And then with the blacks, let's bring these down to about minus 20. Now to introduce some more contrast here, we're going to scroll all the way down to dehaze, and we're going to hit that with about plus 20. There we go. And you can see it really did exactly that. It took out some of the haze from the image. So you can see there's always moisture in the air, and direct light is going to reflect off of that. So you can see it cut out some of that in this area here. So if we turn off the dehaze, turn it back on, it just cut that a little bit there. But that is another way of introducing some more contrast into the image. So let's scroll back up. We'll get to our presence here. And with the clarity, we're going to go up just a little bit, about plus 15. Now with portraiture, it's very, very easy to get too crazy with the clarity. But our subjects here, two men, only thing exposed really is two sets of hands and about 2/3 of a face. So I'm not overly concerned with giving them clarity. Of course, if your subject is showing more skin, then use discretion. Don't be the person that cranks the clarity super high and makes the skin look terrible. Don't do that. Now with our vibrance and saturation, we're going to cut these down just a little bit. You can see with the edits we already made here that the saturation is a bit too high for the look that we want to achieve. So let's cut that down a little bit. About minus 15 or 20, about 15 on vibrance. And let's do about minus 25 on saturation. Great. It's already starting to take shape. So let's do a couple things here. To get that moody look, the rule of thumb is to remove some of the saturation in the colder tones of the spectrum. So check this out. Let's scroll down to our HSL, and we see the saturation sliders here. So we're going to take our colder tones, the aquas, through magenta, and we're really going to substantially cut that. And we'll see the effect it has on the image. So with our aquas, we're going to go down about minus 75 or so. Our blues, we're going to cut those down a lot. Let's go about minus 65. Purples, we're cutting these down about 55. And the magentas, we're going to come down around minus 40. So you can see what we did here. We made this real gradual. We wanted to make sure that we don't have any weird clipping going on, because we're definitely avoiding selective color. That's not the look that we're going for. So let's take a look at what we did by modifying the saturation. We have some white lights here, some fluorescent lighting, which is very common in street lights, just lights in general. Very typically run a very white look. However, when you do your color balance in your camera or in post-processing, that white very, very quickly can register more of a blue tone. And when we cut the blues out, it gives the image a lot more of a solid moody type look. So let's take a look. Let's turn that off and turn it back on. So you can see here the blacks and the grays and all of those tones, they don't ever really get hit with any blue tones. This is a really good example. So let's turn it back off, and you can see that all of this information here that really should be black and various shades of gray is hit with a lot of blue. And then when we turn on the changes that we did, bam, it gives it that look. It just looks awesome. So let's continue to move forward and really start to round out this moody look. So let's add a couple of nodes here to our tone curve. We're gonna add one in the highlights region as well as one in the midtones. In the highlight area, we're actually gonna kind of bring these up a little bit, our highlights and our whites, just a little bit. With our midtones, we're gonna bring these down a little bit. So we have kind of the precursors of a standard S curve. Then what we're gonna do is on this left-hand side, we're gonna raise this up a little bit, and that's gonna give us that matte type of finish. Now we still need to do a little bit here with our color balancing act. I can see that the image is running a little on the magenta side. So let's take a look at the color temperature here at the top, and you can see here that the tint is at like plus 39 here. That's what the camera registered it at. And we're going to drop that substantially, somewhere about, but plus 4. And you can see here, now it's really taking a great deal of shape. So now let's start to round out the rest of the image. We're gonna give this a little bit of a vignette. So down here on effects, let's go down to about 20. Now on midpoint, I'm holding down Alt or Option depending on if you're Mac or PC. And when you click and drag, you can see how far this midpoint is affecting. And ultimately, it just gradiates that midpoint a little bit further. So I have the intention to print this image. So under sharpening right here where it's at 0, I'm gonna bring this up to about plus 80 or so. And that's gonna bring out even more noise. We're shooting at ISO 3200 with not a ton of light here. So naturally, there is a little bit of noise. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of noise reduction, maybe like 30 or so. There, that looks great. That looks fine to me. And after the vignette had a little bit of bleed onto our subject's face. So I'm just gonna hit this with a little bit more exposure. About half a stop there. Perfect, so let's just take a look at where we started with our image. That's straight out of camera there, nothing's been changed. And then bam, we brought it here. It's super moody now. You can definitely see an image like this on one of those types of Instagrams that repost the desaturated high contrast type look. And now you can do it in Lightroom. Just go over and save it as a preset and you're good to go. You can lay that as a foundation on your future edits. So hey, if you liked this tutorial, it would be awesome if you left a like on the video. And if this is your first time checking out the channel, it would be super cool if you subscribed. Well, I'm James Young with JamesYoungPhotography.com, and this is Teach Me How to Lightroom.